And what if trying to make them happy now is robbing them of the resilience they will need later in life? Because I don't know about you, but I'm not here to raise kids who expect life to be handed to them. Instead, I'm here to raise kids who can handle real life, who can navigate the challenges that life throws at them, who can take responsibility, and who can, most of all, manifest their own success with both clarity and confidence. So today, I am walking you through exactly how I am laying that foundation so my kids don't grow up fragile, entitled, or thinking the world owes them something. Welcome to the Inner Golden Hour podcast, where dreams take flight, mind, body, and soul get a serious holistic upgrade, and personal evolution transforms into a shared spiritual adventure. Consider this your dedicated sanctuary for exploration, self discovery, unfiltered truths, diverse perspectives, and some much needed heart to heart real talk. Hi, I'm your host Kusum. I'm a mindset and manifestation life and business coach. Think of me as that best friend you never knew you needed. The one unafraid to call out your BS, deliver a dose of tough love, and hit you with some truth bombs. This podcast is more than just a series of episodes. It's a transformative experience guiding you to dig into your truths, ditch those old limiting beliefs, and fully embrace the real authentic you. It's an invitation to align your mind, body, heart, and soul, to dream big, to explore what truly lights you up, and to manifest a reality that surpasses your wildest imagination. Envision this space as the magical golden hour when everything radiates with a breathtaking glow, revealing the depths of your inner world. Now, come along and immerse yourself in a perpetual flow of inspiration, insights, and massive transformation across all areas of your life. Let's explore the extraordinary, one enlightening episode at a time. Welcome back, beautiful mamas, to another episode of the Inner Golden Hour podcast. And one of the biggest worries for parents, which has been top of mind for me lately, especially for moms, because the more in conversation I'm with moms, the more I hear that all that they can think about is worry about their kids. Now, I'm a mom and I can understand that all too well because we all want to raise kind, responsible, and capable humans. And we also want them to be happy, to thrive, to build amazing lives. But here's where I've seen it get real tricky. What if the way we've been taught to parent is actually setting your kids up to struggle in the future? And what if rescuing them too much, saying yes too often, or overprotecting them is actually holding them back? And what if trying to make them happy now is robbing them of the resilience they will need later in life? Because I don't know about you, but I'm not here to raise kids who expect life to be handed to them. Instead, I'm here to raise kids who can handle real life, who can navigate the challenges that life throws at them, who can take responsibility, and who can, most of all, manifest their own success with both clarity and confidence. So today, I am walking you through exactly how I am laying that foundation so my kids don't grow up fragile, entitled, or thinking the world owes them something. And full disclaimer over here that I am not a gentle parent by any means, but I'm a loving, present, and conscious one because I don't sugarcoat life for my kids. I don't coddle them to avoid discomfort. And I sure as hell don't revolve parenting around keeping them happy 24/7. Now, nothing against gentle parents. If that works for you, fabulous. Keep doing what you're doing. But I am saying that this is what we believe in, this is what we value, and this is what works for me and my family. Now, what I do believe in is tough love when it's needed, real consequences, and raising kids who understand that freedom comes with responsibility. Because my kids are not going to grow up thinking the world owes them something, like I already mentioned. And if they want something, they better learn how to earn it, respect it, and appreciate it, because there's no free rides, no special treatments. Instead, just pure real life lessons without sugarcoating them. And that's not because I'm trying to be tough for the sake of it, but because the last thing I want is to send grown adults into the world who think they're owed something just for existing. I don't want them to grow up being adults with a child's mentality where they are throwing around tantrums for not getting what they want. I mean, just open your eyes and take a look around you. How many adults do we know that are throwing real tantrums regardless of the age, except their tantrums are masked in a different format, perhaps, but it's still tantrums nonetheless. And full transparency over here, while also keeping it real, is that just because I follow all of these principles and just because I try to instill and teach these things in my kids right now, does that mean my kids are perfect little angels who angels? See, there's no such thing as perfect little angels looks like, right? Now, that doesn't mean my kids are always listening, that they're never pushing back, and basically that they're raising themselves. Ha, what a joke. But heck no. We get complaints about them. We see unkind behavior and we hear the nonstop whining, the boundary pushing, and the emotional storms. But the reality is that's exactly what they're supposed to do as well. Of course, they're kids and they're blank slates. They're absorbing, testing, figuring things out right now. And it is their job to push the boundaries. And as adults, it is our job to hold the boundaries and at the same time to give them a foundation that doesn't just teach them how to behave well, but teaches them how life actually works. And when we do that, we give them something way more important than surface level success. Just to name a few is emotional regulation, resilience, inner leadership, and true self-worth. Because in our home, as I mentioned earlier, freedom is earned, privilege is earned, trust is earned. So if you want more freedom, you got to show me that you can handle more responsibility. And if you want to experience cool things in life, you've got to prove you can respect them. And if you want access to new things, you've got to show that you're capable of taking care of what you already have. And if you can't be grateful, respectful, or responsible, then that's too bad, because life is not going to reward your carelessness and not being grateful, but the universe, and in a sense, life rewards what you appreciate and what's in alignment. And trust me when I say I do teach my kids what alignment is all about. Whether they understand that fully or not just yet is besides the point. But the point, as I always say, is as parents, it's a responsibility to keep sowing the seeds and keep watering those seeds right now. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about parenting, but this is manifestation 101, baby. And life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you're truly ready for. Trust me, I do teach my kids that. And I also teach them that life gives you what you're aligned to receive and what you are responsible enough to handle. And that is exactly what I want my kids to understand as well. Not just in theory, not just intellectually, because there are a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge and intelligence about all of these things, but they don't know how to live it. So, what I want for my kids is not just to understand, not in theory, but in how they live, breathe, and move through the world. And on that note, in this episode, I am breaking down 15 core principles we live by to make sure my kids grow up grounded, responsible, and conscious. and not entitled, fragile, lazy, and or lost. Again, these aren't theories, these are real life lessons we live by every single day. Now, of course, there are a lot more principles we try to teach them, we try to help them embody. But at the same time, these are some of the foundational elements that are top of mind for me. So we keep coming back to these. And again, another full disclaimer is that, of course, this whole process is messy and imperfect, and it is a process that will continue to evolve as our kids continue to grow. But we keep coming back to these foundations. So I don't raise kids who are entitled brats, but instead who are conscious, responsible humans. All right, so let's dive in. Number one, there are consequences for all actions, whether good or bad, because everything in life comes with a ripple, aka a consequence. And in our home, my kids are learning that early. When they follow through, when they take ownership, and when they show real effort, they obviously experience the natural rewards that come with that. But instead, when they slack off, act disrespectfully, or make poor choices, yep, they in fact face the real consequences too. And that's not punishing them, but that's teaching them how the real world actually works. There's no rescuing, there's no blaming others, there's no bailout. And here's what it looks like in real life situations. If you forgot your lunch, guess what? You will just have to get creative at school today or wait until you come back home to have lunch. And if you left your jacket at home despite multiple reminders, then I hope that this is going to teach you to remember next time when you are freezing on the playground and listen to your parents when they tell you the first time around. Because the way I see it is, every one of these moments, it's a mirror. It's not a punishment, because life is reflecting cause and effect, loud and clear. And here's the thing, life doesn't come with a bubble wrap policy here. Yes? Because we all get to experience this. There's always cause and effect. And I'm not going to be doing them any favors by shielding them from this reality. And I'm also not here to cushion every fall or fix every single mistake of theirs. Exactly why I'm here to raise kids who look at the impact of their choices every single time, own it, and learn to do better next time, and not kids who expect someone else to swoop in and clean up the mess every single time. Number two, with freedom comes responsibility. Because in our home, freedom isn't a given. Now, before you go off on me on that, please listen to the context. The way I see it is, freedom isn't a given. While we all are free-willed beings and freedom is essential for all of us, we've also got to earn that through responsibility. Because if you want to stay up later, you have got to prove you're capable of handling waking up on time in the morning. And if you want more independence, you got to show you can take care of what you already have. And if you want bigger privileges, you've got to show that you can handle bigger ownership. So we give more room, more access, and more opportunity to the degree they've shown they can handle it. Because it's not about control, but it's about awareness, and more importantly, about self-leadership. Because privileges aren't handed out just because they want them. They get that as a result. It's a byproduct. It comes with trust, accountability, and the ability to manage more without falling apart. Yep. Sit with that for a sec. So, I'm not raising kids who expect access without their own efforts. Instead, I'm raising kids who understand that real freedom is something that you have got to honor, and not something that you take for granted, and definitely not something that you waste. So, freedom isn't a reward. Instead, it's a responsibility they grow into. Number 3, they don't get things just because they want them. And I recently shared this on Instagram when my son asked for an Apple Watch for his birthday because all his best friends have one. And it actually hit home for a lot of you. And in case you missed that post, I will leave the link in the show notes. Because here's the deal, I don't care if every single friend has a tablet, a phone, or the latest shiny thing. I am not gonna buy into the but everyone else gets to reason or excuse, because we don't say yes just to help our kids feel included, and we don't cave to pressure just to avoid the meltdown. And if it doesn't align with our family's values, our energy, and our standards, they are not getting it. Period. Not now, not later, not even if it's trending. Because I'm not raising kids who think they need to keep up to belong. Instead, I'm raising kids who know what they stand for, no matter who's watching. And they better learn early that we don't live by everyone else's rules. Instead, we live by ours, and that's that. Number 4, chores don't come with a paycheck. I mean, if you live here, you've got to contribute. Not because it's cute, because you are young, not because it's extra, because you're still little, but because this is your home too. So my kids don't get paid to make their beds. They don't earn gold stars for putting away their toys. They load the dishwasher, sort and fold their laundry, put away groceries, wipe the table, and a bunch of other things on an ongoing basis, because that's just part of being in a family. And cleaning up after yourself isn't helping, mind you. It's being responsible. So that's something that we continue to instill in them, that you're not helping me out by taking care of this, you're just being responsible. And also, nope, I don't carry their backpacks to school or back from school. If you're old enough to wear it, you're old enough to carry it. As simple as that. Because I am not here to raise kids who expect rewards just for existing. Instead, I am raising kids who understand that self-love, hear me out, self-love comes with self-responsibility. That contribution is part of belonging. That being in a family means you take care of each other, not just sit back and wait for someone else to clean up your mess. And this is so core to raising grounded and capable humans, because when we strip away entitlement and shift that into contribution, that's when we help them build real character. Number 5, they often hear us say no to them, because life doesn't always say yes, and neither do I. If you can't handle a loving but firm no from me, how will you ever handle the real world no's? The rejections, the missed opportunities, and the unexpected setbacks, because that's just part of being human and that's just part of our lives. So it's not about crushing their spirit, it's about building their strength, because kids who learn to face no without falling apart, because we all know the meltdowns, right? They are the ones who grow into unstoppable adults, because every time they hear no now, they learn how to overcome that. And they learn that disappointment doesn't destroy them, that their worth isn't tied to getting what they want, and that resilience isn't built through comfort, but it's built through challenge. So, I'm not going to be the mom who's protecting them from hard feelings. Instead, I'm preparing them to meet life head on with grit, with grace, and with groundedness, because the ones who navigate no without losing themselves, trust me, I know a majority of adults cannot handle They don't know how to handle rejection. They don't know how to navigate the no's, and they're literally struggling because without a yes, they don't know who they are. So I am equipping my kids to be able to navigate the no's without losing them, because the ones who learn how to do that are the ones who are going to rise the highest when life says yes. Number 6, complaining gets them nowhere. All that whining, pouting, eye rolling, demanding, none of that works here. And they have learned real fast that persistence is for earning things and not for wearing people down. And they've also learned that throwing a fit doesn't move mountains over here. It just burns energy and builds frustration. But the real reason I hold this line is that every time I don't give into a tantrum, I'm teaching them something even bigger. I'm teaching them that boundaries are real and discomfort is survivable, and emotional regulation matters more than emotional outbursts, and respect isn't optional, it is foundational. So when I stay firm, I'm not punishing them. I am building their emotional muscles, and I'm showing them that their feelings, while very valid, but feelings also don't get to control reality. And that also helps build trust, because that trust also gets to grow when they know I mean what I say, even when it's hard. Because the real world ain't gonna crumble just because they're upset, and neither will I. Number 7, no screens on the daily, except for learning and intentional family time. So there's no phones, no tablets, no mindless scrolling that happens on the daily in our home. We don't use screens as a babysitter, as a distraction, or a default setting. And during the week, screen time doesn't even come up. And on weekends, our son gets about 30 to 60 minutes of screen time, that too to be used intentionally and in a balanced way. While we do watch things as a family because we are not anti screens, we are just all about mindful consumption. And because of this, we rarely, if ever, hear the words, I am bored in our home. And our 3.5-year-old daughter, she doesn't even get exclusive screen time for herself. And as a result, our kids have naturally learned how to create, explore, imagine, and stay engaged without needing a glowing rectangle to entertain them. They play, they read, they invent, they help, and they use their minds instead of numbing them. Because we are not just managing screen time over here, we are protecting their nervous system and we are preserving their creativity while teaching them how to be with themselves without constant distraction or without constant stimulation. Number 8, they problem solve before we step in. They don't get to come to me or my husband with every little issue expecting an instant solution, because our first response is always, what have you tried so far? And if the answer is nothing, then they're not ready for our help, is how we see it. Because we are not raising kids who outsource every challenge. And we are raising kids who know how to pause, think, try, and figure things out, regardless of how frustrating it is in the moment for them. Now, do we support them? Of course, but we don't rescue them. There's a huge difference between the two, because when we step in too early, we end up robbing them of the chance to build confidence, resilience, and the real world problem solving skills. And more importantly, they need to know that solutions don't always come from someone else, they come from within. And this is such a key lesson in building internal resourcefulness instead of raising kids who default to dependence. Number 9, they don't get out of things just because they don't feel like it, whether it's schoolwork, commitments, responsibilities, because Let's face it, we all have things we don't feel like doing, including myself. That doesn't make them optional, yeah? Yes. So we have to follow through even when it's not fun. So in our home, we don't let temporary emotions override follow through. If they've committed to something, they finish it. If something needs to be done, they do it because showing up even when it's inconvenient, that's exactly how they build grit, integrity, and inner strength. Because I am not raising kids who wait to be in the mood to take action. Like how many adults today you talk to them, perhaps that's you too, right? I'm just not in the mood, so I don't want to do it. Instead, I'm raising kids who learn that discipline, or as I like to say, devotion, is what keeps you going long after that motivation disappears. Because life won't always feel exciting, and that's not a valid reason for them to check out. They're learning to stay engaged, stay present, and stay responsible even when it's not fun. Because there is fun if you're able to find joy even in the most mundane things, but you've got to stick with the process to be able to make a mundane task fun for yourself. And this is also such a crucial one in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification. So, in our home, we are teaching our kids the discipline of follow through and, more importantly, the value of integrity. Number 10, I set them up to fail on purpose. Yes, of course, I want them to succeed, but I also make sure they experience failure more than success, that they experience discomfort, frustration, and struggle. Why, you ask? Because growth doesn't come from everything being easy. Instead, it comes from doing hard things and realizing that you, in fact, overcame them. So I intentionally give them tasks that stretch them beyond their comfort zone, not to break them, but to build them instead. So I want them to feel what it's like to try, to mess up, to regroup, and rise again. And more importantly, to navigate that immense feeling of feeling like a failure and that frustration as well. Because failure, when handled consciously, becomes a training ground for resilience. So, no, they don't need to be protected from failing, but instead they need to learn how to fail gracefully, if you will, and how to fall, and how to get up, and how to keep going despite it all. So I'm not just allowing failure, but intentionally also creating a safe space for it so our kids can build real confidence from within and not just feel good only when they win. Number 11, they learn failure is feedback, not defeat. And in our home, failure isn't even final. It's simply information, it's redirection, and more importantly, it's feedback. And just because something is hard doesn't mean you get to quit. You don't shut down, you don't throw a fit, you don't decide you're not good at it. And this is what we are teaching them, that they get to pause, they get to breathe, and more importantly, ask more meaningful questions like, what can I do differently? What did I miss? How can I grow from this? Instead of simply throwing a tantrum and saying, I can't do this, because that's how resilience is built. Not from getting it right the first time, but from learning to rise after you fall. And resilience is also built through effort, struggle, and trying again and again and again and again. So, I want them to see mistakes not as shame at all, but as part of the path. Because the ones who succeed most are not the ones who never failed, but the ones who failed forward. Because when they first get to experience failure, then they learn how to respond to it better every single time when they continue to fail over time. Number 12, they don't get participation trophies at all because not every effort gets a reward in our home. And not every task comes with an applause, a clap, or a gold star either. Because some things you simply do because they need to be done. And I'm not raising kids who need constant praise to stay motivated. Instead, I'm raising kids who understand that effort is powerful and that showing up counts and that the process itself is where real growth happens. And of course, we celebrate them when they try, when they stay with it, when they learn from the struggle, because that's exactly where they get to build their character and their personality. Not just in the wins, but in the willingness to keep going. And they're learning that not every single thing gets a trophy, but everything that they do with intention shapes who they're becoming. And of course, I want them to feel proud of themselves because they followed through, not because someone handed them a sticker. And they're learning that fulfillment comes from doing the right thing even when no one's watching and or no one's clapping. Trust me, I know. So nope, I am not raising high performing perfectionists who are chasing external validation, but instead I'm raising self led, present, intentional humans who show up, who give their best, and stay rooted in growth, regardless of the damn outcome. And I'm raising kids who understand and honor the process and the effort and the fact that showing up is a big deal, and yet drawing the line at performative praise just for existing. Now, all of this might sound like too high level for kids of that age, but the more we make it seem normal, the more we are able to explain to them how all of this works, the more they will be able to understand, because some of the concepts and some of the things that my son at this age is able to grasp is really mind blowing. And that also comes with the fact that we've continued to speak to him about a lot of these different aspects in a lot of different ways. And of course, we speak to him from the perspective of him being a 7-year-old who just turned 8. But even when he was just 4 years old or when he was in kindergarten, etc., we have spoken to him in that language while also speaking to him in this so-called high-level language. So it becomes a part of what he continues to hear and absorb. Number 13. Trust and privileges are earned, not assumed. Of course, now this might sound like a repetition from something that I shared earlier, but I did want to demonstrate that there's nuances here as well. And here's how it's different in the way that I have separated this into 2 different bullet points. One is that you don't just get more freedom because you're older. You get it because you've shown you can handle it. Like I shared earlier, if you want later bedtime, if you want more independence, if you want access to something new, you've got to show me that you are ready. So in our home, we expand access based on demonstrated readiness, not based on entitlement, not based on age, and not based on attitude. And if you show you're not ready to handle it, that access gets pulled back. That's not with drama. That's not with debate, but just clear boundaries and reinforcement. Of course, we are always open to having an open conversation and discussion as to why we are taking certain actions. But at the same time, if you're going to throw a fit and not open to conversation, that doesn't work over here. Again, like I said, privileges without responsibility isn't empowerment. It's just crazy chaos. And I'm not raising kids who expect growth without actually showing growth. Instead, I'm raising kids who understand that trust is built through actual action and not just empty words. Number 14, they learn to apologize and make things right. In our home, there's no shame in saying sorry. And at the same time, sorry isn't enough. If they've hurt someone through words, actions, or even carelessness, they're expected to take responsibility and do the work to repair that. And that might mean a kind action, owning the impact, making up for what they did, or just genuinely listening and understanding how it affected the other person. But here's the key, we model this behavior too. Nobody in this house is above saying sorry, not even us as parents. When we mess up, and we do, all of the time, we name it, we own it, and we make it right. Because we are not raising kids who just say the right thing, but instead, we are raising kids who know that accountability is love in action. Number 15, gratitude is non negotiable. You don't get more if you can't appreciate what you already have. Not in this house, not in life, not in the universe. Because gratitude isn't something we save for the holidays or bedtime routines. It's very much a daily practice, a way of seeing, and more importantly, a way of being. And every single day, we pause to reflect on what we do have, because I want my kids to root their energy in abundance and not lack. Because gratitude teaches them to honor what's present right now, what they have right now, instead of chasing what's missing. And that's exactly what grounds them, it's exactly what softens them, and more importantly, that's exactly what also expands them. And it's reminding them that life is already giving to us if we choose to see it. So, in a world that's constantly screaming, not enough, I want more, I want more, I want more, again, there's nothing wrong in wanting more as long as you have the right attitude and it's coming from a place of alignment. This is not the episode for that. I talk about that in other episodes. But in the interest of this episode, we are choosing to raise kids who know they are already overflowing. So those are the 15 core principles, but I do have a bonus one, and this is actually one of the most important ones, and that is they see that we live by these values, because none of this would matter if we as parents, if we as adults didn't model it for them, because kids don't learn by what we say, they learn by what we do. And I cannot repeat this and reiterate this over and over and over again. They watch how we treat other people, how we handle conflict, how we show up when no one's clapping, and they see us working hard. They see us owning our mistakes. They see us living within our values, and they see that we don't buy to impress, and they see that we don't parent from ego, and they see that we live what we teach, and that's what's gonna stick. Because at the end of the day, it's not about raising well-behaved kids. Instead, it's about raising kids who are deeply rooted, wildly self-aware, and fully aligned, because they have seen what it looks like in real time. And if we live in integrity, they will too. And that's the legacy that we are building for our family. That's the legacy that we are creating for both our kids. Now, look, let's be real. I know parenting is messy, like every single day. And I don't get this right 100% of the time. And I don't think any other parent on this planet Earth who gets it right. 100% of the time. And of course, things backfire. And of course, I question myself at times. And of course, I lose my patience. But these guiding principles are what we get to come back to again and again, because this is the foundation and this is the standard. Because I'm not here to raise kids who expect life to be handed to them, like I said earlier. But instead, I'm here to raise future adults who know how to show up, how to take ownership, how to contribute meaningfully, and how to thrive no matter what life throws at them. So, in order for us to be able to do that, we have got to be grounded in our values so we can raise kids who don't just behave all the time. Well, actually, I don't even want to raise kids who behave in quotes all the time. But instead, I'm about raising kids who grow into powerful, capable, grounded, conscious, emotionally intelligent, unstoppable humans who know how to handle life. And honestly speaking, it's not just about them. It's more about us than it's about them, because parenting is one of the clearest, rawest, most confronting mirrors we will ever face. Say, for example, are we consistent with what we say we value? Are we actually following through on the lessons we want them to learn? Are we leading by example or just expecting them to do as we say? And are we leading them through our wholeness or our brokenness because of our insecurities, etc., etc., etc.? The list goes on. It's way too long. Because at the end of the day, this is what manifestation in action looks like. We are shaping their subconscious. We are planting those seeds and giving them the mindset, the values, and the awareness to step into their power as they grow. And here's the thing. If you're running on empty, if you're stretched thin, if you feel like you're stuck in survival mode or constantly feeling guilty for doing anything for yourself, or constantly feeling guilty for doing something or not doing something, none of this is going to matter or land for your kids. Because if you aren't doing the inner work, if you aren't clearing your own blocks, healing your own patterns, and embodying the alignment that you want them to see, they will continue to feel the disconnect, because kids don't listen to what we say. They absorb who we are. So if they see you overworked, exhausted, sacrificing yourself at every single opportunity, they will grow up thinking that's just what success and motherhood are supposed to look like. And that's exactly how the cycle will continue. But when you shift, everything is going to shift. Your energy, your alignment, your leadership, and yes, how your kids experience life, success, and limitless possibilities as well. And that's exactly why I'm inviting you to my upcoming free webinar, where you get to discover 3 secrets to thrive in both motherhood and career without hustle, without burnout, without sacrifice, and without guilt. And we touched on this in a recent podcast episode, but this is where we go all in, because this is the missing piece for so many moms who are doing everything right but feeling disconnected from themselves. Because redefining success and motherhood isn't just about you, it's about the generation that's watching you. So when you shift how you live, you show them what's possible. Because when you shift, everything around you shifts, including the way your kids experience life, success, and possibility. And when they see you thrive, you are giving them permission to thrive too. And this is a conversation that we all need to be having, and I don't want you to miss it. So go get on the waitlist now. The link is in the show notes, and I hope to see you inside the webinar so that we can all stop the cycle and lead from alignment and parent from power. And this is the time for us all to do this work together. And on that note, tell me, how are you setting up your kids for real success? DM me, tag me, or share your biggest takeaways from today's episode. And if this resonated with you, go ahead and share it with another parent who needs to hear this today. And until next time, keep parenting with purpose and watch the magic unfold. Thank you for joining me on another episode of this podcast. I appreciate your time, your presence, your commitment, and your willingness to embark on this journey of self discovery, transformation, and manifestation. If anything you heard today resonated with you, sparked new insights, or brought about aha moments, I'd love to hear all about them. So please share your thoughts by tagging me on social media at Passion, Purpose, Passport and follow me there for more inspiring content and connection. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and show your support by liking, reviewing, and sharing this podcast. The more good we share with the world, the more the universe unfolds its magic for us. It's not just good karma, it's the universal law, aka Manifestation 101. By the way, you will receive my free manifestation meditation as a token of gratitude for sharing your reviews on iTunes. Take a screenshot before submitting and send it to my team at manifest@passionpurposepassport.com. On that note, align your mind, body, heart, and soul with your deepest desires for limitless possibilities. Remember, every step you take, every action you choose, ripples through the universe, shaping the reality you wish to experience. Until next time, keep basking in the brilliance of your inner golden hour and keep manifesting miracles.